Say something, I'm giving up on you.
Hello, welcome to Book Talk. My name is Katrina Hall, and I'm from Books and Such. Welcome to my bookshelf. Today I'll be talking about If I Stay by Gayle Forman. For those of you who have not heard of If I Stay, it is a book about a girl named Mia who plays the cello, and everything in her life is going really well. She had her audition with Juilliard, and she has a wonderful boyfriend and a loving family, and then one day it all changes and she gets in a car wreck, and her mother, father, and brother are all passed. They all passed away, and she wakes up and she's in a coma, and she can see herself in a coma, and she's walking around almost like a ghost but slightly different. And she has to decide whether she wants to stay and live her life or whether she wants to let herself die so that she can go be with her family. And this is not a spoiler or anything. You learn this all in the first chapter of the book. If you read a synopsis, you'll see that as well. The reason I thought to go check out this book was because I saw it on the movie trailer when I went to go see The Fault in Our Stars. As I said before, it's one of my loves. But I thought it looked really interesting, and I read it, and it was really, really good. It was wonderfully written. The way Gayle Forman puts through emotions is really just fantastic.
Okay, so for those of you who haven't read If I Stay, you need to leave, go out the door, and you need to pick up If I Stay, and then you can come back, and we can discuss it, and we can fantasize about the movie. Oh my gosh, the movie is going to be so exciting. But you have to leave right now, because spoiler section is starting.
Okay, so that ending, we're going to start at the wrong spot. We're going to start way back here near the end. I was so excited when she decided to stay. I had a suspicion, but I really just it made me so happy that she had the courage to stay. I felt like either choice in the situation would have taken so much courage, though. I loved how each person who came to visit her brought her a different thing. So her grandfather came and said, "We know it's going to be tough for you. You have a choice." He offered her a choice that no one had came and talked about yet. Her grandma came and was talking about her angels, and she said, "I saw your aunt out there." She's like, "I don't think she came. She doesn't usually come around when I'm here, but she came for you. She's rooting for you." And then you have Adam, who comes and he brings the music. And he knows that it's what's going to help her. It's what's going to wake her up. And it's just so touching to watch what all these people bring. And then you have Kim, who comes in. She says, I need to find the line. And she sits up, opens up her eyes, and then she looks in thought again, and she says, "Please don't die. I understand why you'd want to, but think about this. If you die, there's going to be one of those cheesy Princess Diana memorials at school, where everyone puts flowers and candles and notes next to your locker." She wipes away a renegade tear with the back of her hand. "I know you'd hate that kind of thing." And just thinking about that, how good of a friend Kim is. She went to go find Adam. Throughout the book, she's just a strong, strong character who is willing to do what Mia would want her to do in the situation. And I really admire her for that. So she was definitely one of my favorite characters in this book. So from the very beginning of the first time her grandfather walks into the ICU, you can tell that there's something really special about her grandparents. And her grandfather in particular, I think you can tell he has a lot of faith in Mia. And the nurses as well. I really love, there's the one nurse who comes by when her grandparents are sitting in the ICU. She's not my nurse, but she comes up to Gran and Gramps just the same. "Don't you doubt for a second that she can hear you," she tells them. "She's aware of everything that's going on." She stands there with her hands on her hips. I can almost picture her snapping gum. Gran and Gramps stare at her, lapping up what she's telling them. "You might think that the doctors or nurses or all this is running the show," she says, gesturing to the wall of medical equipment. "Nuh-uh, she's running the show. Maybe she's just biding her time, so you talk to her. You tell her to take all the time she needs, but to come back. You're waiting for her. And at that point, I loved that line, because you just got such, you can just feel the emotion. Like, everyone is rooting for her and wanting her to come back, and she's still deciding and she's figuring out what's going on. But I love how much everyone is just there. They're there and they're rooting for her, and they're giving her a choice, and they're acknowledging that she does have a choice, and that it's up to her whether she wants to live or whether she wants to die. And she can make that choice. And that's what I loved about her grandfather too. Her grandfather and Adam and a lot of the other people who come in to visit her all mention, you have a choice, and it's up to you to decide what you want to do, because it's your life. And in the end, I was so happy, so happy when she picked to live.
And then we have the relationship between Mia and Adam.
They're so in love, and it's adorable. And I love the fact that when Adam came back, he brought the music, and he knew that the music would wake her up. And then you have the dilemma. The dilemma, because you have them going separate ways. They're going down separate paths. And then all this happens, and you're like, oh my goodness, what's gonna happen next? And there's a sequel, and I'm so excited to read the sequel. It's called Where She Went, and it takes place 3 years after it. So I really can't wait for this. This is gonna be awesome. I loved the relationships, how Gayle Forman writes out relationships between people, and I love how she conveyed emotions. I thought it was just brilliant. Yeah, it was awesome. I loved it. Okay, so it's one of the most unique novels I've come across. The whole concept that she can walk around and she can see what's happening really had me thinking about some stuff. It makes you think about what would it be like if that was actually the case. Is that actually the case? We'll never know if that's the case, I guess, unless you experience something like that for yourself. But I enjoyed how it constantly teetered back and forth between her life pre-accident and then after the accident, when she could see what was happening in the hospital. I'm really excited to see the movie, and I'm just really excited to see it. I think it's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see how exactly it's going to go. I think that the way they're going to do it, they're going to have, like the flashbacks and then the back to reality. And I feel like that's going to make for really powerful visuals. I love this book. I thought it was awesome. What did you guys think? Who was your favorite character? Who did you like the most? Who do you think encouraged Mia the most to stay? What do you think? If you could have the choice, would you stay or would you go? What do you guys think you would do? Any thoughts? I'm Katrina from Books and Such. Bye, guys. My copy has like 50 extra pages of just extra stuff, and I'm kind of annoyed by it. I thought the book was longer than it actually was.